Class of 2023 guests and colleagues, my name is Sharon Oakley, and on behalf of the University of York and the alumni community, I am delighted to welcome you to your conferment and celebration ceremony. I have a few announcements to make before we begin so that you can relax and enjoy the ceremony. Class of 2023, an easy job to start with. Please check that your seat number matches the number on your ticket, because you will be called to the stage in this order. If you discover that these do not match, our team of stewards can help you locate the correct seat. At the appropriate time, you will be invited by the stewards to stand and to make your way to the foot of the stairs, ready to head up the stairs and across the stage. All very straightforward. There are two key things which make for a seamless ceremony. First, as soon as a person ahead of you begins to cross the stage, please make sure that you make your way up the stairs. Please don't wait until they have crossed the stage before you reach the top of the stairs. And second, when your name is announced, please walk to the center of the stage and either raise or doff your cap rather than shake hands with the Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost. Please do pause for a moment at the spot marked X in the center of the stage for that all-important photo opportunity. Your parchment certificates will be available for collection from the Student Hub from Monday the 24th until Monday the 31st of July. If your certificate is uncollected, we will post it to the home address we have on record. So please ensure that your home address is on eVision and up to date. And your digital certificate will be made available to you through our digital portal, Grad Intelligence. For the students whose awards have been delayed by the marking and assessment boycott, we will let you know how to obtain your certificate when we communicate your final outcome. Everyone from the class of 2023 is welcome to have photographs taken by our official photographers in the photography studio in Spring Lane building. At the end of the ceremony, the class of 2023 are asked to process out of the hall directed by the stewards. Family and friends, the stewards will show you to the exits once the class of 2023 have left the hall. If the fire alarm should sound at any point, please remain in your seats. Instructions will be given, and we will escort you to the nearest exit. When students graduate, they become alumni of the University of York. As an alum, you will join an international community of over 160,000 York alumni in over 180 countries. The university's Alumni Association is a vibrant and active global network which offers services and opportunities which are designed to help graduates make connections with other alumni around the world to support your career development and provide lifelong learning. York is for life, and we will be there with you every step of the way, particularly as you embark on this important next chapter. You will shortly receive an email giving further details of the ways in which you can remain supported, connected, and active in this community of one of the world's greatest universities. Do please follow our alumni social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out the alumni pages on the university website to keep in touch and learn more about life as a York graduate. As you get your first job or take up further study or training, please remember to keep us in touch with what you're doing. Understanding the career paths that you will take help us to provide the right support to current students and make sure we continue to offer you relevant information and opportunities. And please remember to join us for your celebration reception following the ceremony in the Exhibition Center, where you will be able to celebrate your achievement with a complimentary glass of fizz and a selection of refreshments. Finally, can I ask that you all now please mute your mobile phones, and if you are comfortably able, would you now please stand?
Good afternoon and welcome to our university. I now declare the congregation open for the conferment of awards. Please be seated. So, good afternoon again. It's my extraordinary privilege and pleasure to congratulate every single one of you here today as you transition from York to the next exciting phases of your life. A York education is evidence of hard work, determination, and a commitment to exploring and expanding the frontiers of knowledge. but to have succeeded, as all of you have done, when one considers the truly immense challenges that you, and indeed we all, have encountered and overcome over the past few years, is a testament to a level of resilience and drive that will mark you out in ways that you, can't even imagine at this time. I'd like to expand on the theme of exploring and enhancing the frontiers of knowledge. I still remain a fan of the late Canadian singer, songwriter, and poet Leonard Cohen. It's an age thing, you have to bear with me on that. I've been reflecting, perhaps for the last time, on a particular phrase of his from the song Anthem. It explores the idea of hope in darkness, written at a previous time of global turbulence. Leonard says, "There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." It would be easy to only see the darkness that seems so prevalent in society today and to feel a sense of despair and futility. But I believe we can, and indeed we must, respond positively to threats and challenges, and there are many. We're in the midst of a global cost of living crisis born out of the aftermath of the impact of the pandemic and the war in Ukraine, but all the more so by the fact that we now have the largest gap in modern times between the very richest in society and the poorest. Here in the UK, food banks are now the second largest holders of food stocks, second only to Tesco, and soon they'll overtake Tesco. This should give us serious pause for thought. How can it be acceptable that an economy the size and strength of the UK can, according to Joseph Rowntrie's Foundation, have nearly 7 million people living in such deep poverty that they are struggling to feed their children or travel to work? And we know that you, our students, have also been badly impacted by the cost of living crisis. Here in York, we've been working with our civic and city partners and with student leaders to try and create agile and compassionate responses to the crisis. Crises like COVID and the cost of living have taught us that our busy, frenetic lives, fueled by social media, can change in a heartbeat in ways that are often beyond our control. The cracks exposed by these crises have shown us that those whose jobs are the hardest and often the least well paid are also the people who are most likely to be badly impacted. Fundamentally, we haven't tackled the deep-rooted inequalities in our society. But these crises have also taught us how important human relationships are. COVID taught us that the simple act of meeting, talking, laughing together, hugging, caring for each other should never again be taken for granted. The current crisis will only be solved by continually breaking through new frontiers of knowledge. That aim is at the heart of our education system, that our research, our teaching, and our collective collaborative endeavour must be shaped around the goal of making the world a better place, to solve such deep-rooted and embedded inequalities in society. But the cost of living crisis is by no means the only darkness we're experiencing right now. We're living in a time of increasing division, distrust, and destabilization. The invasion of the Ukraine is but one example of global insecurity that is hugely disturbing. I've been part of the UK's national effort to support our colleagues in Ukraine's universities. We're proud that York has been twinned with Kharkiv National University, located just 25 miles away from the Russian border. KKNU is a university that has experienced profound losses. Students and staff are dispersed. Every building on their campus has been damaged by daily shelling. It's beyond humbling to join a call with the Ukrainian rectors, when they talk of their determination to stay, to rebuild, to recover, and most importantly, to continue to deliver the best education possible for their students. I am enormously proud that we now have a range of collaborations in place to support KKNU to redress the horrific impact of the war with Russia. But it shouldn't have to be like this. So my message today is one of hope, because you are our hope. So ring the bell when you've been educated in a great university, a university that I hope that has left you with a deep sense of personal and collective responsibility, an understanding that respect for education and expanding our frontiers of knowledge are the hallmarks of a civilized society. I hope that you'll use your education to always question the status quo, that you will challenge inequality and inequity wherever you see it. We want you to use your knowledge, your compassion, and your creativity to make the world fundamentally a better place. Life is far from perfect. As Leonard Cohen said, there are cracks in everything. But imperfection is what makes us strive to make things better. It's what makes us challenge ourselves to find solutions to global problems. It's what gives us hope, so that we too can let the light in. Humanity has faced many periods of darkness over the course of history, and yet we endure, we hope, we change, we innovate, and above all, we hopefully inspire. As President Zelensky said about young people in Ukraine, you are not our future, you are our today. Today marks the start of your future. It's yours. Grab it with both hands and never forget your time at York. Thank you very much.
Professor Elizabeth Pretjohn will now present the class of 2023 for the Department of the History of Art.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, I have the honor to present the following candidates who have pursued the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in History of Art. For research in Sculptors in England, circa 1660 to 1715, Charlotte Davis. For research in a transcultural history of Egyptian modernism, Amina Diab. For research in fantasy in Victorian art, Miriam Hale. For research in art and craft as a non-dualism, Yu-Rei Yang. For pursuing the degree of Master of Arts in History of Art, Gabriel Vivian. For pursuing the degree of Master of Arts in Stained Glass Conservation and Heritage Management, Susanna Wise-Jackson. Cassie Doldowski. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Curating and Art History, Evie Andrews. James Clark. Hazel Irwi. Holly Hammond. Imogen Hayden. Thomas Howard. Jamie Lewis. Nina Main. Leah Scott. Patience Scott Russell. Ruth Spindlow. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History of Art, Emma Andrews. Martha Christie. Poppy French. Violeta Giska. Isabel Givens-Rolfe. Freya Guzet. Cameron Hartshorn. Josephine Heaton. Alice Henlon. Jonathan Hill. Anya Kaczynska. Nikolina Konyevod. Vanessa Crisonite. Ludo Manian Miles. Bidad Monsef. Merit Niederhausen. Henrietta O'Devlin. Emilia Rhodes. Vienna Shelley. Gabriela Torres Garcia. Charlotte Ward. William Pierre Wilkins. Freya Wood.
Professor T.T. Arvind will now present the class of 2023 for York Law School.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, I have the honour to present the following candidates who have pursued the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Law. For Research and Freedom of Speech and the Prevent Duty, Nuhud. For pursuing the degree of Master of Laws in International Corporate and Commercial Law, Prince Osei Tutu. For pursuing the degree of Master of Laws in International Human Rights Law and Practice, Osman Ersan. Mariam Makbul. Macy McDonough. Emily Louise Precious. Praise Agomuonso. Jennifer Tong. For pursuing the degree of Master of Laws and Law, for pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Laws and Law, Maya Walid Abdel Kader. Zubair Abdul Wadud. Yara Abu Haider. Saeed Ahmed. Tawheed Ahmed. Hifsa Akhtar. Yaman Al-Hijazi. India Alam. Alexandra Amaro. Malaka Mary. Bianca Amorelli. Finan Archbold. Chloe Armitage. George Bakshal. Harry Baines. Ishita Bajwala. Charlotte Baba. Tommy Barnes. Mia Baxter Sully. Daniel Beale. Lauren Bembrick Taylor. Ellie Bilby. William Blackburn. Kaylee Bonner. Kamara Bourne. Emily Bradley. Abigail Branston. Dylan Bridge. Alec Britton. Abby Buckler. Gian Bumakog. Louis Butler Kettle. James Cairns. Ben Colton. Ria Chahal. Olivia Chandler. Ziling Chen. Kelechi Chukudi. Colleen Choran. Sean Clark. Amy Compton.
Student musical ensemble E Anonyme will now perform What a Wonderful World, arranged by Peter Hicks.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and you. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. The
For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law, James Cronin Fernandez. Jennifer Cullen. Rachel Louise Mary Curry. Salim Darkush. Renee Dashte. Caitlin Day. Josh Diaga. Santiago De Vito. Emily Denman. Kathleen Dillon. Bethany Dickinson. Madeline Dutton. Megan Dyer. Millie Eady. Olivia Ellerker. Jack Eskins. Dylan Evely. Jacob Eaves. Erin Pye. Jack Faulkner. Carlo Fenucci. Ruhit Ferdous. Jack Fielding. Lucy Fitzpatrick. Ferdinand Flannery. Macy Fletcher. Ed Fryer. Anna Frost. Anna Fregati Tinoco. Ilona Georgieva. Jack Germain. Lauren Goodwin. Holly Gold. Harriet Green. Thomas Green. Charlotte Greenside. Jane Greast. Daniel Gruzda. Brandon Singhguru. Elise Guy. Hadja Adriana Batrisha Hajizeni. Noor Hana. Angela Hargreaves. Elizabeth Harland. Isabel Hama Borley. Grace Harris. Olivia Harrison. Mia Howe. Rebecca Henfrey. Jasmine Breeze Hensey. Jasmine Hayes. Lucy Hipkiss. Philippa Hodgkins. Robin Holness. J.C. Horton. Henry Hewson. Cian Will Hughes. Oliver Hughes. Naila Islam bint Hussain. Noor Jafar. Joseph Jackson. Amy Louise Jackson McCarthy. Freya Jameson. Kanaskol Javan Mardi. Ransika Jay Vikrama. Salma Juwane. Hannah Julian. Nabira Kaiva. Arnold Kaizi. Alexandra Ketchka. Annabelle Keno. Emily Kettel. Sarah Kafif. Angelia Kerr. Jenny Koo. Rian Kortko. Jack Langton. Nathan Lewis. Sophie Line. Daniel Lofthouse. Lorianne Loiseau. Hector Long. Maya Lucas. Olivia Linden. Lucy Line. Gordon Ma. Abdullah Masood. Jake McCarthy.
Professor Charlotte O'Brien from York Law School will now present our honorary graduate, Denise Jagger.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, I'm delighted to present our inspirational honorary graduand, Denise Jagger, a tireless advocate for women in the legal profession, an incredible supporter of charitable causes, not to mention a major contributor to the direction of our university as Chair of Council for the last 5 years. Denise embodies our belief in embedding equality and diversity in everything we do. She is committed to making things better. A glance at Denise's resume conjures up 2 words: impressive, and to us mere mortals, intimidating. Following her law degree and postgraduate qualification in EU law, she secured a hugely competitive training contract with Magic Circle law firm Slaughter and May. She later moved to become company secretary and general counsel at Asda during its massive expansion, and wasted no time in reshaping its culture and environment to improve working conditions, benefits, and opportunities for women on the shop floor. She took this determination and drive into her next high-profile role as a partner in international law firm Evershed Sutherland, where she set about fixing the leaky pipeline. That is, the fact that there was a high intake of strong female junior lawyers, but a massive male skew when it came to those who made partnership. While there, she founded Carrie, a networking forum for women in in-house roles, named after Carrie Morrison, the first woman to be admitted as a solicitor in England and Wales just over 100 years ago. Her trailblazing work led to her Woman of Achievement Award at the Women in the City Awards. She was also an active member of the 30% Club, campaigning to boost female representation at board level to at least 30%. Eversheds is nearly there, incidentally. 29.4% of partners were women as of April 2022. But Denise would be the first to say that still leaves room for improvement. Gender equality in the legal profession is not a pipe dream, but it is still a long way off. Denise's example reminds us that we need to keep renewing our commitment to that ideal. The Solicitors Regulation Authority reports that while the majority of law graduates are women, women still make up only 35% of partners in firms. The male domination of the bar is starker still. The Bar Standards report that only 39% of all practicing barristers in the UK are women, and of those appointed King's Counsel, women make up 19%. And let's not forget that we're back to 1 woman out of 12 on the Supreme Court. We are especially privileged to have had Denise chairing the University Council because this gendering of power in the law starts in education, and we need to do better at practicing what we preach. The first woman law professor in the UK was not appointed until, wait for it, 1970. And a recent study shows that well over 2/3 of law professorships in the UK are still held by men. Denise's work underlines the importance of diversity for improving business. In her own words, it's not a nice to have or a box-ticking exercise, but it is key to success. During her time with us at the University of York, activity on equality, diversity, and inclusion has increased exponentially. We are taking equality seriously, and for your influence, I thank you, Denise. She led the University Council through the critical and unprecedented pandemic years, and under her chairwomanship, the university has become a real living wage employer in recognition of the fact that low pay in higher education disproportionately hurts women. On top of all of this, during her career, Denise has held several other non-executive director, trustee, and chair roles. Her skills in commercial and corporate finance, governance, retail, and international law have been hugely valuable to a vast range of organisations, including the British Olympic Association, and yes, her tenure covered the all-important year of 2012, Northern Ballet and St Giles Trust, a charity that supports vulnerable people facing adversity. In an interview, Denise once said that courage and curiosity are the 2 most important things for in-house lawyers. I would add that they are the most important things for our students and for you, our graduates, and for us in the academy. Let's hope we can be courageous enough, curious enough, and passionate enough to follow Denise's example and push for change. Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, for her dedication to equality and diversity, for her contributions to the legal profession, for her vast catalogue of charitable work, and for shining a light on how we need to improve as a university, as a sector, and as a society. It is with great pleasure that I present to you Denise Jagger for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
through the power vested in me by the University of York, it is with immense pleasure that I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa. Very well deserved. Congratulations.
Vice-Chancellor, Saul, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, colleagues and students, thank you so much for this award. I really am immensely grateful, and it is really a crowning moment of my period here at York. Because of my role at York, although it generally focuses on governance, I've had the pleasure of attending many graduation ceremonies. And in fact, I've always made a point of doing so because it just reminds us how important it is, seeing you all bound up on the stage, full of enthusiasm and ambition for your careers. As a result, it also means I've sat here many times and listened to some really inspiring speeches from honorary graduates, whether they're famous writers, musicians, comedians, scientists, inventors. So I'm really humbled to be included amongst their number. But what I don't have for you today is a really interesting story about something innate in me that made me have this really interesting career. I didn't have some particular talent that drove me, or I didn't have any great invention to come across. But maybe, just maybe, that will make my story resonate with all of you a little more clearly. Because it was a long time ago, but I was just like you, many of you today, obviously law graduates. And I sat there thinking I got this career planned as a partner in a law firm. But that's not how it's worked out. So I've tried to think of just a few tips to share with you that you might take on your career. So I think the first one is, Charlotte did mention courage, and I think have a bit of self-belief and courage, because I actually got into a fabulous, magic law firm, but that was certainly not predestined. And certainly at the time, given my background, I went to a very ordinary state school. I was brought up by a wonderful single mum, but I wasn't really destined to get straight into a city law firm. But I believed in myself. And I thought, let's go for it, because what is the worst that can happen? I get turned down. So I think that's an important lesson. You don't always get what you want, and I've faced failure during my career, but I've always been able to turn it into a learning opportunity. So be prepared for that. It builds resilience, which I know a lot of you have got because you've had to, cope with your studies through COVID. So sometimes back yourself, have a bit of courage. The next thing is, although I got into that great law firm, and it would have been pretty simple just to stay there and march up the partnership ladder, I've always been curious, as Charlotte said, and I was always looking for new experiences, learning more. So don't get yourself too narrow, because even though I'd, on the face of it, achieved what I was going to do, if I'd been too focused, I wouldn't have appreciated opportunities that came my way. And that's how come I ended up going into industry. So whilst it's good to focus, do sometimes keep a wider perspective, and then you will seize opportunities. And the way you get them is volunteering. I was always ready to volunteer to try new things, step out of my comfort zone, because lawyers do have a reputation sometimes as we like to specialise, we like to be right and get into the detail, and that could lead you not to try things that are outside your familiar territory. But I would urge you sometimes to do that, be a little brave, and that leads you to other opportunities. But when you do it with enthusiasm. People recognise when you're keen and ambitious and volunteer. So don't be too calculating about what skills will it add, will it be helpful. Just get out there and volunteer. And probably the final thing I'd say is think about giving something back. It's easy for me to say now, towards the end of my career, and I have done lots of charitable work, but you can start it early. And the great thing about it, you really do feel you're making a difference. And you learn new skills, and you meet fascinating people. I mean, being on the board here and chairing York University is one of the most fulfilling things I've done. So whatever your passion, you might be into art, sport, environment, there'll always be groups, communities that could do with your help. So also, don't just think single-mindedly about your career. Think a little more broadly about how you can give back, how you can help those that are perhaps less fortunate than you are. And in doing so, I think you will find you gain skills and gain contacts and find out new things about yourself and where you want to take your career. That's exactly how I've ended up doing such a sort of, array of different things. So I hope you'll bear some of those tips in mind. And meanwhile, I'd just like to thank you again and wish all of you, I can say, I'm sorry for the history of art and art students here, but the law students, I really think it's a great degree to have. And I hope all of you remember your time here at York and remember the alumni office. We're always here to help you with contacts and ideas and people who've followed a similar path. So remember your time with fondness and very good luck to all of you, and thank you.
For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Laws in Law, Stephanie McLemont. Catherine McGlenn. Lyra McGuinness. Millie McIntyre. Caitlin McLachlan. Samuel Messon. Gabriela Milward Vasquez. Joshua Mooney. Ewan Morris. Georgia Morris. Shana Muhita. Lucy Mullen. Dora Muller. Kieran Mullen Smith. Denzel Mulunda. Bupe Masunda. Hamza Nadim. Namdin Duka Eze. Hannah Nelson. Will Newby. Juliet Newton. Lewis Njie. Casper Robert Oblak. William Ogden. Tito Luanien Olasode. Mayowa Oni Williams. Harry Owen. James Page. Annie Papararo. Matthew Parkinson. Cameron Perry. Libby Parsons. Louis Partridge. Julia Estevez Pazzotti. Emily Patterson. Finlay Patterson. Macy Pollock. Lucy Ellen Powell-Kylo. Rosalind Preston. Jack Pritchett. Edward Proctor. Maria Ahmed Ramadan. Chloe Ranfang. Oliver Riley. Neve Riley Stedman. Tilly Renison. Taha Saeed. Oliver Sefford Cole. Sonal Sal. Jess Sanghera. Emin Sarioglu. Flynn Satterley. Evie Sossman. Matilda Seddon. Samarvir Sega. Louise Shaw. Harry Sidnell. Dylan Sylvan. Naila Simpson. Tom Sinclair. Harrison Singh. Neve Smeaton. Millie Smith. George Sommer-Lechner. Lucy Squires. Laura Staves. Matthew Stevens. Sophie Stimson. Olivia Sturdy. Dariasic. Arthur Sullivan. Curtis Simmons Peck. Angel Curran. Jessica Tennant. Matthew Tambiraja. Declan Thomas. Samuel Till. Maya Tivana. Enriquetti Marina Trufaco. Nailman. Annette Padmanabhan Vadakkeduthe. Connor Van Dartel. Harry Wakeham. Sophia Wallow. James Walton. Isabel Ward. Harry Warren. Morgan Watson. Tom West. Callum Wiley. Victoria Williams. Phineas Wilson. Jessica Woolner. Thomas Yates. Cameron Young. Hafsa Zahar. For pursuing the degree of Bachelors of Laws and Law with a year abroad, Callum Bennett. For pursuing the degree of Bachelors in Law with placement here, Emma Hopper. Sukhveer Rai. Amy Schumacher. Sophia Varkusi. For pursuing the degree of Bachelor of Laws, Senior Status in Law, Viola Cheslavichute. Caitlin Hyland. Francesca Law. Emily Lesage. Lyndon Lee. Trevor Mock. Caitlin MacDonald. Anne Mullen. Nizam Shajani. Quinn Vidalin.
Professor Elizabeth Tyler will present the class of 2023 for the Center for Medieval Studies.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, I have the honour of presenting the following candidates who have pursued the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Medieval Studies for research in a literary history of St. Guthlac of Crowland, Emma Nuding. For pursuing the degree of Postgraduate Certificate in Medieval Studies, Jordan Woff.
Dr. Rachel Alsop will now present the class of 2023 for the Center for Women's Studies.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, I have the honour to present the following candidates who have pursued the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Women's Studies. For research in borderline experience and its knowledges, Francesca Lewis. For research in women academics' working experiences in China, Yulin Pan. For pursuing the degree of Master of Arts in Women's Studies, Lauren Herp. Abigail Johnson. Momoko Kagasawa. For pursuing the degree of Master of Arts in Women's Studies Humanities, Jasmine Walker. For pursuing the degree of Master of Arts in Women, Violence and Conflict, Charlotte Bareilles.
It is my enormous pleasure to introduce Edward Proctor, our student orator, who will speak on behalf of the class of 2023. Our student orators have been invited to speak in recognition of their hard work on behalf of the student community and commitment to their studies. Our speakers have both pursued the most enriching experience they could during their time at York, as well as giving back to their community. On behalf of the class of 2023, I give you Edward Proctor.
Hello, honoured guests, friends, family, and of course my fellow graduates. Whether you're attending today virtually or in person, it is honestly a privilege that I get to address you at this evening's graduation celebration. From my time at York, I would say that one theme which fundamentally binds this cohort is development. As my class has critically observed, criminal justice issues, including police reform, sentencing disparities, wrongful convictions, and restorative justice have been under scrutiny in recent years. I have seen from this cohort's posts of their dissertations, especially on Instagram, that it is likely that they, in their careers, may focus on addressing these challenges and on working towards a more equitable and just society and legal system. I am truly honoured to be graduating with such kind and talented people who want to improve the world that they live in. I also understand this theme of development to be fundamental from my own personal experience at York. Engaging with professors leading in LGBTQIA+ academia, meeting with international and national students, while also feeding York's various fauna, especially the geese. From my body's development and adaptation to losing weight and combating my liver disease, to developing my mind to fit the confines of a neurotypical society, and developing my social and academic cues to embrace various cultures, my passion for development grows strong, and I know I will continue to embrace this theme into the next steps of my professional journey, as will you, fellow members of my cohort as well. Honestly, my time at York has changed me as a person in many ways, and has opened my eyes to a new world, especially by learning from friends from their various cultural backgrounds of Syria, Nigeria, and Palestine, to name a few. Due to this engagement with my friends, and from the societies I've been a part of, I now plan to explore the world further by heading off to Australia while using my qualification to help others. And I know in some way many of you would do the same, and you should be incredibly proud of yourselves. This cohort must pat itself on the back for what we have been through. Everybody, honestly, please put yourself on the back, because we have developed through COVID and Brexit, and we will continue to develop through this cost of living crisis and expansion of new AI systems. And those affected by strike action are some of the strongest among us. But please do not get bogged down with this, however, as this resilience, this determination, this power is what it means to be a University of York student, and now a University of York alumni. An enormous congratulations and thank you, class of 2023.
Thank you. That was just great. We're reaching the end of the ceremony. Can I ask friends, family, and guests to stand, please? Not the new graduates. So, thank you. I mean, now is our last opportunity to congratulate the class of 23. Wish them well for the future as they embark the next stage of their journey. Please. Thank you. And now, can we ask the graduates to stand? So equally, well, as we heard, it's been a tough few years, but at the same time, you've been supported by a whole range of family, friends, academic staff, technical support, and administrative staff here at the university. People have nurtured you and looked after you, both in mind and spirit, but possibly financially as well. And now is your chance to say thank you to those that have helped you throughout your time at York. Thank you. So if you can remain standing and the platform party can stand, and I now declare the congregation closed. Thank you very much indeed.